All right, folks, welcome back. Oh, give it a second of black screens because we're on the European server now. There we go. This is going to be the last cast today, but this will determine who goes on to fight against Neeb in the grand finals. And if tradition from the round of 8 and semifinals holds strong, we will hopefully see a PvZ grand finish. That being said, the player in the top left, incredibly talented, very good, very French. It's the red DnS.
In the bottom right has the blue Zerg, equally French. It is Denver.
Denver really catching my eye and heart recently. Had a great breakout performance with this tournament, no doubt. And I just realized he's using the BlizzCon drones. If you guys don't know, that's why they got little gears for hands. This was part of the BlizzCon ticket you got this year. One of the in-game Easter egg things.
Yeah,
but
pretty cool.
I don't remember the number off the top of my head. I was looking at this last night in bed as I was like looking up stats between these two. And I think it was something like, not even the last couple of years, but like in 2017, Denver and DnS have played each other like, I was like 18 or 19 some odd times in tournaments. Not to mention whatever practice and ladder play these two have. They're very friendly with each other. They're very polite with each other. They know each other very well, and they should know each other's builds very well.
Yeah. Looks like it's a bit back and forth with DnS, maybe historically getting the, like, maybe a bit better, but really back and forth. And Denver has been improving, I think, perhaps in a bigger leaps than DnS has. DnS you would see every so often, solid Protoss, Denver, solid Zerg, but then Denver recently, of course, most recently, taking out Hero, Root Hero, really gave me more of a bound for that.
Let's not stop there, though, because we take it back to the previous group, and he killed Hurricane over there as well. So, granted, there was another Korean, not mentioning though, because it was two Protoss. There's two Korean Protosses that Denver was able to kill. But, what I do note was in both instances, there was an all-in or two that got him wins that maybe shouldn't have. So, if DnS knows Denver as well as it appears that they say they know each other, maybe the all-in factor won't be as strong between these two. Maybe it's a little more predictable, you know?
Yeah, it was two all-ins that got the end, I guess, of the best of 5 versus Hero. One macro game, though, that went pretty well for Denver, so it wasn't all cheese for him. But, I mean, it's back and forth for a reason, right? And as well as you know someone, you can know that they can do Baneling Bust. It's a matter of what, like, do you scout it in time? Is it the 3rd game or the 5th game? Is it even the 1st game? So I don't know if that's really going to play a part. I feel like when it comes to knowing each other well, you really see those obvious tells in more of a macro game than necessarily them on edge against a cheese. Unless, of course, the person is like Arthur known cheese levels, right? Like then of course you know he's cheese. But now otherwise, Denver, both a player who can macro and cheese and all in. DnS has got to be on guard. I'd say ditto for Denver though.
That's a hell of a throwback for a name there, too. I miss Arthur. That guy was awesomely ridiculous to watch play in open tournaments.
Yeah. But I said, like, it's probably ditto for Denver. DnS can do all-ins, and Denver's going to have to be on top of that as well. But Overlord Speed will certainly help with that, and he is currently researching it. Very quick robo after the Stargate opener from DnS, too.
By the way, real quick before the fight begins, thank you, Mally Poochie, for the Prime sub and floating for 4 months. Really one of the best streams, as he also cheers 100 bits to combo with the same message. Thank you very much for that, dude. And Akuma D. Diablo continuing to be awesome with subs. Thank you for all the gifts, man. Feels like Christmas Day.
Aw, that's a month from now.
Oh, wow, it is. I don't know why that caught me off guard, but it's just like, it's the end of the year, man.
Yeah, exactly a month from now. Depth's a little bit too bold, a little too few in number, just get taken out, so DnS gonna have to wait a little while longer to get that 3rd base.
Is Ting available in the UK? Unfortunately not, friends. Ting is a US-only mobile phone service. I, for one, though, wait eagerly for them to dominate the world and start moving to Canada and other regions. Canada, at least, please, Ting. I beg you. Phone bills here are so stupid.
See if that ever happens. You know, DnS not getting his 3rd base as quick as he would like is kind of going with it in stride. Adds on gateways and Templar archives and a Warp Prism. So I do think this 3rd denial is great for Denver. Denver has to be aware this always leads to something. You know, if the Protoss player is good anyways, if you're facing a bronze player, I guess they're just, you know, really panicking about no lack of third base. But no, the guy DNS, there's got to be something else going on. So, you know, they're going to have gateways, they're going to have Templar archives. Their economy won't be able to back it up as much as it should be able to. But there is definitely potential for an attack while you're busy distracting that third base.
Also, I had to go look. Man, we're at 99,730. Guys, so close. Hit the follow button if you haven't. Be part of history. I want 100K to happen today. It's gotta happen today. Archon's unloading. Gonna be a little bit annoying to deal with.
This is only the 2 Archons, though. He didn't get a chance or didn't choose to warp in, you know, 4 Zealots on top of that. The Banelings would have helped taking care of it, but as the point is, this isn't really that committed, and it looks like a regular Archon drop, but then you got to consider that he opened up with a Stargate, and his third base was later. And despite getting to the Templar archives, kind of going, again, like running in stride with what's happening, it does not add it up to very much.
I can't look at these drones, by the way. These drones look like regular drones that have Black Death from Co-op on them. I'm just like, get this out of the mineral lines! Quick! Don't be zombie grub!
Why? Why?
Because when we did Co-op last, remember Black Death killed all your workers?
Oh, yeah.
Literally all your workers.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Also, we had Rurkar just give us some hype. 20 months on that resub. Happy Thanksgiving weekend, StarCraft hype. And then, wow, your brother subbed before that.
My brother's not the world's worst son. I was like, are you talking to me? Do you know Rurukar's brother? Like, what's happening?
No, I think your world's worst sub for that Prime sub. Silly, cheap joke. Didn't quite pan out. Overseer gets a really good scout, though, by the way. This confirms not just the defenses, but also sees the amount of Templar that are already at home. Probably can assume they're storing energy and not becoming Archons anytime soon. So it's gonna know storms on the way.
Yeah, of course. But, you know, since DNS really didn't get any counter damage done, his, you know, lack of third base didn't really lead to anything surprising, like a faster charge lot all in. It just was a delayed third base. And that means, I feel like Denver just has a good position in this game. The numbers don't quite reflect it, although nice denial on this Warp Prism.
Would have been amazing if he had caught it, but he almost did. Either way, shuts down the drop. No warp-ins whatsoever. Nice moves out of Denver. I'm gonna bring this up though because I've liked that he's done this in almost every time we've seen him. He has not been complacent. He's always had units left in the main. Usually it's a couple lings, maybe it's the extra queens that were left over, but with the Hydras especially, this is a common practice for him. This isn't just like, oh my god, it's DNS. This is Denver just being on point.
Well, Denver might be point about the Warp Prism. He is not denying the 4th base and is in fact seemingly just waiting for lurkers, which have been tripping up a lot of Protoss. So DNS, I mean, gets to have his 4th base at least well timed, and his 3rd base is a little bit delayed, and is on like a pretty strong economy along with Denver. Doesn't quite have enough of an army to deal with what could be a lot of lurkers. 3 Immortals is not a lot. He's actually only on 2 right now. Lurkers still have to be made. And if he gets caught out of position, those lurkers get entrenched in the natural. It's really been tough for Protoss to deal with it.
Stasis traps will help catch some of these potential run-bys. I like this. By the quick note to Trident 901 who says, I'm on TING, but my code expired. Guys, Jesse is seriously the best guy. He'll be in chat for most of tomorrow. He's not here today, but he's been one to hook people up over the various seasons. So if you ever have problems with TING, yo, Jesse will give you the hookups.
Well, Denver doesn't have that much gas. So only 4 lurkers have been being made. That's not really enough to get in a trenched position. If you have 8 and you get on top of a choke or a ramp, it's super difficult to bust through. But 4 is not so bad. Warp Prism's still threatening as well, so Denver's got to be really careful to, you know, not get caught up in this attack, even though it looks really tempting. He has 2 attacks being set up, one of which I don't believe DNS knows about. There's been no scouting on the south side.
And the army's definitely moving northwards, having seen that. This is so sick, so he pounces on in. There's not going to be anything close to enough warp-ins. 9 probes get pulled. He doesn't even pull the workers.
Yeah, this was some really nice damage, but there's also a big oversight by DNS, who, again, had no scouting. He has an observer, I believe, seeing the units reinforced, but that wasn't enough to tell him, okay, all those units were stacked up right there. Lurkers were forgotten about, but he still has 4 over here.
No, they weren't forgotten about that. Overlord that got picked off was trying to pick them up. He was going to go for a drop, so that was kind of a cool move out of Denver to set up, but unfortunately with that one being caught, he now only has the one attack and DNS can focus, but DNS is also getting supply blocked by this Nexus going down, as well as these pylons.
He's in a very tricky position. Immortal's coming from the backside. Could have been a sandwich, but there just wasn't enough on the backside, and the top side just came in a little bit too late, waiting for those storms instead of actually pushing through.
There's one single observer with the Northern Army, by the way. Nothing to see the lurkers on the south. That's why DNS can't engage this.
Yeah, I think this has already been too bad of a fight, to be honest. I mean, storms are plentiful, but you need quite a few of them for the lurk, especially as spread out as they are. Even if he manages to clean this up, losing that fourth base was pretty deadly.
He just stormed his own observer. He's got no detection now.
There's an Oracle. Yeah, it needs a lot more energy to get revelation.
Oh, to get no. Okay, because the one got picked off on the right side earlier. I guess that's back in action. That'll be good to have. Warp Prism's still just chilling, but store 4 Hydras, so Denver really has nothing to worry about in the main. No counter warp-ins, no big attacks. He's just on full frontal assault, and apparently Banelings can only barely out DPS a shield battery. No comment.
Well, DNS went a little too far forward, thinking they had an opportunity just take out reinforcing units, and he is not in a position at all for this. The Immortal's going to get taken out by these Lings as well, and just a lot of chaos. Killed
so many probes, with the shield battery finally out of energy. Goes to the south once again. Big run by Nexus, going to get surrounded. Even with the army right here, can he save it in time? There's a lot of storms. There's a couple of Archon blasts, but that Nexus is already out of shields. It's going down quick. I think Denver's going to get the base snipe.
Yeah, he's actually he just commit to it. I'm surprised he even pulled away.
Yeah, I thought even if you like lose all the Lings, it's worth it. But either way, you know what? He's killed so many workers this game. 37 probes have died. DNS is not comfortably on his 4th, and Denver, man, he's on a 5th now. He's expanding. He's good to go.
Yeah. Lots of harassments, lots of multi-pronged attacks. Wow, macroing pretty well. The only thing that Denver will be missing is the higher tech. Oh, actually, never mind. He's gone his way to the Greater Spire. Perfect.
Oh,
if the things went wrong.
He's on Hive Tech and he didn't get Digging Claws. That's actually really interesting with his Lurker dedication that he's had.
I think I like the Greater Spire. Well, I don't know.
You have to pick one or the other, right? Like.
Well, he was lacking gas for a little while there, so that's why I said I like the choice. But now
I'm gonna execute the base. 4th finally goes down. 3rd also under a little bit of poke, but looks like that's been dealt with. Lurkers set up here in the natural. This is just falling apart for DNS. He can't get control of this game.
No, but this is why I like the Greater Spire. I think his army is becoming too anti-Hydra Lurker, and even with Digging Claws, committing more to Lurkers could have lost Denver this game to a counter. DNS has not lost much army because he's dealt with small attacks, right? So while the arm supply is still very similar, DNS is, it's a Protoss 101 supply with a bunch of storms. That's scary, but if he could just get to Broodlords, then DNS would not be able to take care of that. He's still a ways away, though, and DNS is on the way to killing him.
There's no blink. There's no blink. Even if he gets Stalkers, it's just started up, so this is going to be a problem for sure. Lurkers in a concave mixed with these Hydras, though. Forget the Broodlords. He can't push down that ramp.
Yeah, he doesn't quite know how many Lurkers there are either. That observer glimpse at 1 or 2, but there could be 8 or 10. If he knew that there was just 4, if he went another way, I guess there's actually 6 now. If he went in another direction, he's probably dealing damage, but that was a huge time buyer. Corruptor's on the way now, but Denver is still maxed regardless of the Broodlords, and dealing more damage to that 3rd base.
This is getting so out of hand for DNS. He's going to go for the final attack. It's all he can really do. He truly has been forced into this situation, but I just don't see a lot of hope for his future. Blink's still not done, and even then, if it comes down to it, there's not enough Stalkers to warp in. It's just going to take like 3 or 4 Broodlords, I think, to really solidify this for Denver, but he is getting caught off guard here, excuse me. 21 Banelings being morphed in, a lot of Hydras, still those Lurkers.
Yeah. The thing is, Denver should have enough. Because even though his army is getting more, weaker and weaker against Storm Mortal Archon, DNS can't reinforce. Denver can still a little bit.
42 Zerglings is actually not a bad thing to reinforce with either, whether he sends them across the map for a base trade or he just wants to surround the units left over. There's not that much splash to deal with him. He doesn't have 7 Storms anymore. He barely has any Archons. DNS is on +3 weapons, but that's not gonna cut it. And here comes the first Broodlord.
One single Broodlord. Of course, running out of money, having to defend. This is what I was talking about. If DNS was up against just Lurker, Bane, Hydra, this army might have been able to cut it, but the reinforcements obviously was enough, and then Broodlords would have really made sure that that Denver would never lose this game.
Oh god, he just took everything out, but he just realizes, oh right, there's still lurkers, so GG gets called, and Denver takes map number 1. I like Denver, man. I'm very happy. I want to make this clear, guys. From here to the rest of the tournament, I'm on Team Denver still, so it's happy for me. Total bias to see him win game number 1. But DNS, excellent player, loser's choice. We're going to actually go to a quick commercial break, guys. I got to run to the bathroom real fast, so we'll see you in 2 minutes, and we'll get back with game 2 ASAP. Welcome back, folks. It's game number 2 in this best of 7. Spawning here in the lower right portion of the map, we've got the red Protoss, DNS.
In the top left is the blue Zerg. He is Denver. Okie dokie, Dan.
Bit of a awkward cancel. Squish.
Yeah, 15 hatch instead of a, well, 17.
Maybe this was just to beat out the probe for timing. I mean, it does get there, so DNS can't play silly bugger, put down the pylon, and be a pain in Denver's butt.
Yeah, it might just be for that. There is that, oh man, who does it? Lambo or Xanster, I can't remember which one, does like a early hatch, early gas, early pool, but only by 2 or 3 drones, so that it's really hard to scout, but it does end up being an all-in, a Ling all-in, and he usually does it on this base, so I think you might be correct just because Denver did add a couple of drones in between that gas and pool, so I think it's different. But we're going to have to pay attention to what he makes with that larva.
Well, probe's sticking around to see as well. It's kind of a follow here. I mean, he knows the pool timing, so it can't be too much craziness. DNS will likely look for the 3rd on his way out.
Yes, that will be certainly the next thing to talk about.
I really wonder, for those who don't know, in StarCraft 2, workers can spray on the ground, right? They got this ability, spray, it's just like a little thing. It's nothing that impacts the game, it's just a fun little bit of BM sometimes. We never see players use this, and I just like, moments like this are so perfect for it. I'm like really sad. I don't know if you need like to make it a better hotkey or more noticeable, but I wish we'd see more sprays.
Just so easily forgotten about.
Yeah.
So it was just for the probe block, and perhaps this is one of those things where he just knows DNS always tries to get the pylon block there, and like really just didn't want to have to deal with it. Taking the 3rd base isn't like so bad as the natural, but it is very annoying, especially if he's the type to do two pylon blocks, natural and then 3rd base.
But that comes down to that question of, is this something they're doing specifically? Like, is Denver doing this specifically because Protoss might do this, or is this him playing strictly against DNS? Like, was the canceled drone faster hatchery because he knew DNS would come over and do that? My answer is I think yes, frankly. A bit of a supply block with that Overlord dying, but he already had another one on the way. I think he knew that was going to die, so that shouldn't be too long of a block. Back of the base, though, it's Adepts with Resonating Glaives. It's not a Dark Shrine.
DNS uses Day 9, in case you wanted to know.
Oh.
But it is important for you to note that it is Resonating Glaives, because that's what Denver was unable to see. You know, a lot of Protosses open up with Adepts, no Stalker whatsoever, freebie scouting. Not the case here, and while he tried to get as much scouting as possible before the Overlord died, it wasn't going to reach all the way back there and see that. So he still doesn't know if it's like a Stargate, although it would have been delayed with the Stalker opener, or Twilight Council. Yeah,
I didn't even get to see the gases. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. He knows this too, and that's why Overlord speeds on the way, because he wants to get in there to check this out. A lot of people asking about the intro song for this, guys. Tempo and I worked together on it. Tempo did the lyrics, he did the singing, he did the rhythm. I just did the writing and the idea. It's a good team effort, so... If you guys don't know Tempo, maybe you... I don't know how you don't, frankly, if you know StarCraft, but Tempo did a lot of music back in the day. Really famous for the When I'm Grandmaster parody. Very talented guy.
Yeah. So, some early pressure with these Adepts. Then we're trying to get a scout of any sort. He knows it's not a Stargate at this point in time. He sees, like, you know, obviously 2 gates at the front, but not quite the 3rd at the back. Adepts. These are all things that are usually normal, but just add on to the fact that it's not a Stargate opener, and I think he's very suspicious that it's Resonating Glaives. I mean, there's only a couple openers, right? Stargate, Twilight Council, and Robo Twilight Council. And without seeing a Robo... Without seeing a Dark Shrine, I was thinking 4th Gateway. Well, now he knows what's up.
Tempo plug in chat out of Heart Revenge, by the way. Thank you for linking that YouTube, man. Or SoundCloud, excuse me.
Yeah. So, did Denver have enough time to prepare? 12 lanes are on the way, but these adepts are already here. They really didn't take any time whatsoever, you know, hesitant to push in. They shaded in, and they shaded forward, saw that there wasn't much to be done. But the lane's already out, and just decided to stay at third base.
Yo, it's Caster versus Caster, because Denver's using Artosis and Tasteless, by the way. But this is interesting. So I think he's done a great job handling this as far as the adept attack goes for what he has. My fear, though, is he didn't see that second Stargate. He saw the first Stargate, but not the second one. So a lot of focus on these adepts, but not a lot to think about what's coming up next.
Pretty important to realize that there are a couple different ways to follow that up, and double Stargate is occasionally used. 2 Phoenixes pop out at the same time, though, and that is enough of a scout right there.
Actually, that pushes it into the Stargates for me now. So yeah, he's fully aware of what's going on now. For him, there's not a lot of options, though. He's not quite to layer. So much of this was delayed with the early game, so he's not going to have a lot of Hydras out. Maybe gets Spore Crawlers, Queens, but that's really his only options for anti-air right now.
Well, 2 Phoenixes started, and then he was able to get pushed into the Stargates and saw 2 more Phoenixes, so might be banking on it just being Phoenix. I mean, you still want Spore Crawlers and Hydras against that, but it's different than playing its Mass Oracle.
There's something about the Phoenix I really enjoy for DNS's choice, however, because last game, let's be honest, well, it wasn't like maybe the focal point of the game. He did ultimately lose in part to Lurkers. These Phoenix can just rip them out of the ground, and the Lurkers won't be as big of a threat with these to crowd control them. If that's maybe his thought process, but either way, these cover a wide variety of things. They do a lot of harass. I just love that this is a possible solution to a possible problem.
They can definitely help with Lurkers. Well, the one good thing you can do against Stargate especially, so Phoenix especially, sorry, but Stargate too, in a way. Mass Oracle's really changed it up, though, but if it's Phoenixes, you can kind of just expand. You can expand and drone, and you know that they won't be attacking you anytime soon, especially if it's double Stargate after an attack already happened. So 4th base, replace the drones that you lose to the harassment, that's all well and good. If it was Mass Oracles, well, that 4th base would actually be maybe not even a possibility. You know, if 6 Oracles are already, they're going to kill a 4th base. Phoenixes? No, you can take bases.
You know what the best way to kill Phoenix are, by the way?
What?
1 Hydralisk in a temple.
Oh, I get it. It actually took me a little while, but I got it. StarCraft. That was a StarCraft joke.
All right. Regardless, though, of silliness, this is still like these queens, as plentiful as they are. They got to be careful. The Phoenix can just play right around them, and that's exactly what they do. Go to the drone line, pick up some more drones. I mean, gets a couple Hydras on the way out, too. This is nice damage for DNS.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really up to Denver to just kind of mitigate this damage. Like, Phoenixes in higher numbers are guaranteed going to fly over Spore Crawlers, even 2 or 3 of them, and grab a couple of drones if we're going on their merry way. But I would say, like, 11 drones lost and you know, still at 75, 4 bases is fine. He does need to get kind of cracking on this army, however. DNS is responding to the army he knows Denver would make. This is so easy Liberty right here. By going Colossus against what he knows is going to be Hydras.
Sorry, yeah. Giggle got caught in chat because response to the joke was, I'm a Dragoon.
I'm a Dragoon.
Oh, Phoenix, you're supposed to be so cool, and you're just not.
Really
Holy, what the front door? Is that real? Did that just happen?
Whoa! Holy shit.
Whoa, Ricard.
That's one of the biggest donations ever.
At least one in a single go outside of bits, because Jibby, of course, was that title. But yo, Rurikar. What the what? Guys, before I even read this out, let's get some hearts in fucking chat. We just had insane generosity come our way. $300 finds its way to our doorstep. This is just because it's a happy weekend with StarCraft and you guys. Keep up the awesomeness. Please split the dono. Oh, of course I will. Zombie Rebel will get 1. I'll get 299. No problem. Thank you very much.
At least I got something.
In all seriousness, though, that is crazy. That is insane. Ladies and gentlemen, Rurikar, longtime viewer, longtime supporter of the channel. This guy actually has helped me out a lot of times personally, too. He's just an absolute baller. Thank you so much, Rurikar. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope your holidays are going well. And I hope you're enjoying these frickin' games. Baneling drops don't quite make it here. And he actually picks up 3 of the Banelings. Quick reactions out of DNS.
Very quick. But Denver, so he was countered, right? You go into Hydra's account of Phoenix, the Protoss goes on Colossus account of the Hydras. What do you do to counter the Colossus? Well, not Vipers. Well, Vipers, yeah. But Corruptors first. And then maybe Vipers later. The problem with the Corruptor Hydra, though, is that if they get to enough Colossus, the Corruptors sometimes don't kill the Colossus fast enough. Like, it's a problem in any dynamic against Colossus. Even Terran had this problem with Vikings, right? All your Marines die anyways. But I think it's especially brutal for Zerg because they don't have chunky Marauders. You know, they're depending on Hydras and maybe Lings. Colossus will rip right through that, even if they eventually die. And DNS is already pushing forward here. I feel like this build has worked out perfectly for what he was hoping it would.
I'm a little bit annoyed. Bitboss didn't pick up Rorikar. I'm gonna go enter that manually, so I'm gonna put the camera on you for just a sec.
Okay.
Oh, that recall is so sick, by the way.
Yeah. Didn't quite have enough to deal with the Corruptors. Feeling a little bit shy. You know, there's about, what, 9 Corruptors? Oh, 13. Okay. There's 13 Corruptors, and they had a handful of Stalkers, not even any Archons. No Storm. So, while Corruptors sometimes don't kill the Colossus fast enough, that was a bit of a dangerous thing to just move into willy-nilly. The Corruptors take that opportunity with the recall, though, to go after the Nexus and the Natural, so they get that. But now they're out of position, can't help the army, the main fight much anymore. They gotta retreat now, and Denver, can he actually take this on? Even with a back attack here, he's making it a little bit awkward. DNS has a very good army. He cannot recall again. A 2-minute global cooldown can be a killer, but I think his army is good enough. He could take a really decent fight.
Alright, I got that set. Camera's back on me. Yo, so cute. Wait, did he swap announcers? I just heard Alarak. I thought you said he was using Day 9.
He was definitely using Day 9.
Did he swap? What the? Okay, anyways.
Okay, yeah.
This attack on the DNS, though, is running a little bit rampant. It took a lot of probe damage back on the other side of the map. I was also going to shout out Rorikar. He doesn't actually have a profile picture, so he's using his cute little default bits thing. It's so adorable.
You know what I might have heard? Alarak's voice line, but Day 9 or Tasteless, I think Tasteless makes fun of Alarak's voice line when he says, your units are under attack. No. And I must have heard that and thought it was the fake one.
Okay.
I got bamboozled.
Scamboozled. I was like, I don't think you changed it mid-game, but whatever. Phoenixes and Archons get some great blasts off on the Corruptors. Those don't get on top of those Colossus, not easily at least. The worst part is, DNS is actually kind of somewhat protected by these Phoenix in terms of Denver can't just auto-attack in. Those aren't going to prioritize the Colossus. He has to actually target fire those down.
Oh. That's so many Archons. Oh, Corruptors, no!
Oh, no. This terrain, though, is a little bit difficult to navigate with the ground army, so he's perhaps banking on it not working, but Hydra's got a big concave with this, and while Colossus are getting some good blasts, the Corruptors aren't getting on top of the Colossus. They're still dancing with the Phoenix. He decides to move past them on top of the Archons. No splash damage. Finally gets on top of this Colossus, but it might be a little too late. Most of the Hydralists are dead.
That was way too late. I mean, Denver started off okay, but you saw the Hydra health get really, really low, and those 2-3 Colossus that were left alive for so long. That's so many extra hits. I mean, he didn't have the greatest competition up against that, even with the Corruptors, but wasting so much time with those Phoenixes was part of the problem.
Well, his economy hasn't been screwed. Nah, it's still GG, but as we say, he was finally getting some counterattack damage done, but DNS takes the game and ties it up 1-1. I'm really glad we don't have like a bunch of one-sided series, and this is another one that I could totally see, especially with their previous scores in best ofs going back and forth, going a little bit longer. But it is worth noting for those watching, this is loser's pick, so you do get to pick like maybe a map that you're a little bit less uncomfortable with to go to, have a chance to come back with. Thank you, Jaboof, for that $4.99 sub. Glad to have you join us here in the Base Trade Brigade. And if you guys are enjoying these games too, let's not forget all the replay packs will be sent out to our subscribers. So hopefully you've been enjoying this and you'll enjoy the replay packs to go with them. But man, Rorikar is going to sit as Bit Boss for a while. He's got 30,000 health. And we've had one. That was a mess. That's like that's a Christmas holiday tier donation, and it's not even Christmas yet.
You know, I bet it was for your joke about Phoenix.
That
was clever. That was so clever. People were still figuring it out like 10 minutes later.
I did feel bad because I'm like, do I explain this for like the? Because there are going to be some people who don't know what I was talking about at all. But Anyways, guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, get this next map up. It's going to be on Odyssey, so I get to play my super cringy meme intro. Also, we're at 70 followers for the stream. I gotta really nag. If you're enjoying the show, please just thank us with a follow. It's the best thing you can do as we get closer to 100,000. 99,746. So close. So close. I blame WESG for being online. You bastards.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just blame them.
Nah, I don't mind. Good games on both streams. And I appear to have the lobby bug, so I'm going to just Alt F4 real quick.
I think everyone got the lobby bug.
So it sounds like you had the lobby bug.
Well, yes, yeah.
Everyone needs to cheer 8 bits to take them down. Yeah, if everyone tuning in right now cheered to like 8 bits, he would fall. Rurikar, by the way, I don't know if you're aware, there are some extra powers that come with being Bit Boss. You can tax the chat, you can give a gift to the chat, you can glory and get items specifically rare for the boss. Oh dear. I'm getting stuck at authentication.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Let's try this again. But anyways, exclamation mark boss glory, exclamation mark boss tax, or boss gift, your pick. Enjoy your powers while you got them. I'm trying to restart my client again and hoping that there's not going to be a problem here. But while I do, thank you, Blue Trepidation, for that 500-bit cheer. No message to go with it. Just wants to cheer some bits. What a guy.
Cool, 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 cool.
Not cool, though, is I'll show you guys here. I'm just totally stuck at authentication every time I boot it up. Is everyone else still online?
Yeah, they joined the lobby.
Trying to think how to get around this.
You completely exited the Battle.net launcher?
Not the launcher. I'll go try that. I'll test 4 out of everything here.
Okay.
And before I can't log back into the launcher, and you've just like slowly pushed me out of the cast today entirely.
Guess you're gone.
All right, guys. I really don't want to do another ad break because we just played one, but I think we are going to send ourselves to commercials while I look into this. So 2 minutes for now. Hopefully, it won't be longer than that, and hopefully this will be resolved as soon as I get back. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. We'll see you guys soon. All right, we're back. Give it a second because, of course, things had to get restarted several times. So here we are. Unfortunately, by logging into another account, you also lose all your settings. So I'm not sure how sound and actually mouse scrolling is going to be. You may see us have to juggle this a bit for this game. But do us a favor, guys. You who are tuning in, you are who are watching, are the ones we're trying to impress here. So if you hear any problems with sound or otherwise, let us know. We'll take a look at it. No promises, though. Dr. Sativa, thank you for that Prime sub. Making me feel a little bit better about these technical problems. But it is game number 3. Things are tied up 1-1 and spawning in the top left side of the map. We've got the blue Protoss DnS.
In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, he is Denver.
He's almost flying those French flag colors. Just need some sort of white there in between.
Yeah, also American colors.
No.
America.
I guess it is really interesting how many flags do share those colors. And it's just somehow America branded red, white, and blue, though.
So I've heard a couple of people say that they don't understand the American flag. They think it's a terrible design. Okay.
The stars.
Yeah, I don't know what they think is terrible about it, but they say like it's terrible, right? Like it is whatever. And I just don't understand, okay? Because at least ours has, like, you know, a history and, like, you know, kind of detail something about it. It's interesting. It's not just 3 colors in a line that might be vertical, might be horizontal, and change countries depending on its orientation. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why that would be more preferable, okay? So Europe, just get your act together, all right?
Yes, and design your geography better as well. Your country lines are ridiculous.
Exactly. France must be next to a beach.
And who shaped Italy like a boot? I mean, honestly. Real quick, thank you to JD Jane for that 420 bits. Thank you, sweet miss. Because she also notes that it's 4:20 a.m. where she's from and that we had 4,200 viewers at the time when she cheered those bits. Perfectly done. But that only whittled, it tickled Rurikar's health. This guy is going to be bit boss for a while. I'm a little bit sad too, because actually while Maynard and I were casting WSG, we had a good solid like almost hour of people. No one stepped it up. Everyone was just doing 100 bits at a time. We trade the bit boss off like a dozen or two times in like a series of a best of 3. It was really funny. Actually, by the way, on the topic of flags, before I move on, I'm not sure if anyone watches Hello Internet. It's one of my favorite podcasts, and never did I ever think I would be interested in listening to 2 other people talk about flags for literally hours. But with Gray and Brady, I was totally drawn in and sucked in.
I can imagine there's actually a lot of flags that are very interesting. The South Korean flag also has like a reason and why as to why it's shaped that way. But to be honest, the only flags I really know are the ones that play StarCraft. So there's a lot of countries I don't.
You know
because they
flags
don't
that play StarCraft? I only know people that play StarCraft.
When I go to that ESL website, I just refer to them as flags, not players.
Wow. Oh my god, Rifkin is a Tim. Okay, shout out to SharkDog58, you the man. There was some really cool build cancels, by the way, out of Denver to keep the Adept from killing those drones. So already get control out of both sides of this to minimize damage. Hopping on top of these Adepts too is going to be really nice. Just removing those from play.
All right, nice handle on the early aggression. Oracle's following this up. DNS, I think that the build he chose last game worked out about as perfectly as one would hope. Very old school way of dealing almost was Zerg. I remember when it was like Wings of Liberty and I thought this was absolute bullshit. I thought Protoss was super overpowered because my response to Phoenix were Hydras and the response to Hydras were Colossus. Kind of saw that again 7 years later in that last game. But Denver also just didn't focus fire. I don't know if any of us could get away with the same type of build.
I love that this guy gives a pretty interesting explanation for the French flag, and your response is like super sarcastic.
It was.
Wow, so creative.
It definitely was.
I want you to know, man, I thought that was a fun fact about a flag. Thank you for giving us that fun fact.
Oh, it's a fun fact that you know it and you told me it, but that isn't actually very creative. It's
Zombie Grub, you're gonna get that treatment, man. It's like, well, let's see you design a flag any better. And the question is, could you? What would the nation of Zombie Grub?
State flags are really cool. I feel like I just see something like that.
I've
like
never
a
really
bear.
Like a bear for California. I'm surprised that's not the Texas flag actually. Because they'd have the right to bear arms.
Okay, that'd be funny if like all of America didn't have that same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Texas. It's Texas.
Yeah.
Big catcher on the Adepts. Bailing's gonna make sure the pylon goes down too. No shield batteries in sight. This is probably gonna be a cancel. Excuse me, but a bit of cancer as well, I guess, for DNS to have to deal with.
Oh no. Oh,
that was
no,
bad.
indeed.
That was really bad. That's a kill, not a cancel, guys, to be absolutely sure here. That's a lot of money missing for DNS.
No, Zombrigup's flag would say, I'm a Dragoon, and it'd be like a paint art of the Dragoon from the campaign.
Really? I would imagine the Zombie Grub flag would actually be pure white with 2 white eyes on it. And it's like the Apollo flag.
Okay, it's pure white with 2 white eyes on it.
Or blue eyes, excuse me. Blue eyes, my dragon! I'm sorry, I'm done, whatever.
I thought you were making a joke that it'd be pure white and I'm gonna surrender easily or something.
No, oh man, what if that was the French flag and that's why they actually put the blue and the red on it? I'm sorry. All right, Bears bust through the door, picks around on the Zealots warping in. DNS with almost no defense and especially no shield batteries is going to take a lot of damage here. In fact, the fact that if he had 1 shield battery, this could be the world of difference if these Lings killing all these probes or not.
Yeah. So this is like a lot of small engagements, but really adding up here. The third base being not canceled and killed. This one not having enough protection. Archons not dealing damage that they would want to on the other side of the map. Too busy defending over here. Denver has gotten a wonderful start.
The double Warp Prism should have found a way to deal damage, but the fact that they pull the Archons home and the Hydras waited for this one in the main, as Denver typically does, this is just so fantastic. A kill on a third base, 14 probes dead. Denver is in such a good spot as he moves to this gold.
Yeah. In fact, DNS is in like not a game losing situation, but he is kind of far away from ever winning this game unless he can get some serious damage done with these Archons. Perhaps like a cancel on a 4th base would be a good start, or maybe catching a transfer would be really good. But nothing much more is going to be coming from this War Prism.
I should no fear for that Prime sub, by the way. Thank you kindly for that. Also, to be clear to anybody who's tuning in that is French, I don't actually hate France. I'm just playing stereotypes, and I hope no one's actually getting offended today.
We're casting 2 French players. You made fun of France.
Both of which I actually really like. I've had drinks with DnS, and I've enjoyed watching Denver. I actually have a lot of affinity for both these players. Hydra's coming across the map. Might time out the attack with Storm, so maybe there's a chance DnS takes an engagement. But the reality is, as I show you guys the income graph, this has been a big dip in Denver's favor for a while, and that economy is just going to shine through. It's already up 30 supply because of it. Banling's on top of this as well. Do they have speed? They do not. But still, Banlings are still very volatile and scary units.
This is hitting as Storm finishes, but it's hitting just before gateways are done, and production is still necessary. You know, Storm's weaken the Hydras, and something else got to get the hit. A lot of Archons are here. Good Stasis Trap catches like 6 Hydras.
See if that's going to be enough. The Hydra's also not going to take storm damage though while this goes on, so bit of a weird way for that to play out. Bailey's trying to get in there, but they're getting focused down. Nice job. No more storms, only Archons. And those Hydras are about to come out of stasis.
Yeah,
wake up, boys!
Slots here. Another Warping of Charge Lots might have been enough. Actually, these just 2 Zealots over there complicate things. Archon's getting some decent splash damage, and Denver's attack has been barely held.
Archons are good.
Yes, that's true. Denver, had he had those extra Hydras, might have been able to snowball. Is still in a good position, instantly getting back up to 30 armor supply above. Now finally on his way to centrifugal hooks as well. That could have been maybe even a bit better had he attacked from the back with those Banelings, but without speed, that would have been too long to set up.
Some folks in chat commenting about the EU login servers. I just had that problem. Swapping to a new account did let me log in on the first try.
Might have gotten lucky though.
That's true too. Although, I mean, lucky? Okay. Okay.
Well, hope you don't have to log into this one.
Well, that was more than expected. Denver caught DnS paying attention to his attack up here. DnS was not looking at its drone line, probe line, excuse me, when he needed to. And that 19 more probes on top of an already large count brings it up to 38. Another kill on the base. It's a cancel at least, but stops the gold from going up.
This is all very good moves again from Denver, who already got such a great opener. But into more probe damage and another delayed base. This attack might not kill DnS again. Maybe storms are just going to be enough, but Denver is looking to get into Infestation Pit.
More indirectly, I feel like it has, though, because like the 3rd base was delayed, now the 4th base is delayed. As this game goes on, like the economy is going to be favoring Denver, and that's why he's taking these bad engagements, but he can afford to. I mean, keep in mind, the resources lost is also still somewhat close for how bad, quote-unquote, the fight has been for Denver.
And we're on his way to a 5th base. Can certainly reinforce with this, but, I mean, it is... I'm looking towards that hive. It looks like he's not going to be able to take on this army. If he had 20 Banelings attacking from the backside, I think he just sandwiches the army, but he keeps on attacking kind of with the wrong units in the wrong places.
Shield battery doing what it can, but it's out of juice. There might just be a little too much. It's over double the army supply, and the Archons and Immortals are disappearing. No weapons to save them. GG, Denver takes game number 3.
Yeah, most importantly, running out of storms at the end there. Well played.
Good 2-1 lead. All right, guys, I have to let you know real quick. We are getting to game 4. After game 4, we are going to have a small sponsored, it won't be as long as the last one, but we are going to have a small sponsored ad break. That'll be about 2 or 3 minutes. So just letting you guys know, we're going to play out game number 4. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good time. And then we play a quick ad, and then we'll be back into the best of 7 immediately after. And if you are new to the channel, by the way, just to be clear, we are always pretty transparent about when we're going to play commercials. We try to let you know ahead of time. And of course, we'll never play any actual commercials over gameplay footage. So hopefully you're willing to come chill and hang out. Again, if you're coming at the front page, you've seen StarCraft, maybe not even for the first time, but the first time in a while, come join us in chat, man. If you got questions, we're happy to answer. I've been fielding questions as we've been going throughout the day as well. And why am I not in the chat channel?
Because...
There you go. Do we know the next map yet?
No, they take a lot longer to choose the maps than the last series did.
I think that's kind of good, though. I like the fact that they're actually thinking about it, and it's not just like, okay, screw it. First map I see, like Blackpink. Okay. But yeah, Ting is a pretty good company. I've really enjoyed working with them. They put on a lot of good tournaments, and we recently got to hang out with them at their booth for TwitchCon, and I hope we get to see more stuff like that in the future. Oh, come on, lobby, don't bug on me now. All right, there we go.
You've been in here, as far as I saw.
Definitely wasn't on my side. It's like that luck's about to run out. Knock on some wood. Okay, everyone's here?
Yes.
Denver? There we go. All right, cool.
You're getting a bunch of delayed lobbies.
Dude, I'm getting a lot of delayed everything. That's why I'm getting so paranoid about this breaking, man.
Calm down, everyone.
What's that poster behind Rifkin? Oh, you mean this wonderful poster made by 47ness? The greatest poster of all time? Yeah, that's what it is. It's also, yo, the first poster I've ever had on a wall. 29 years old, guys. Never had a poster on my wall before this one. Feels weirdly liberating when it...
Why is your in-game name on the Observer tab Doom?
I don't know. This is the European account.
But in the lobby, you were Wildfire, but in the Observer tab...
People don't know my alt account, and I'd like to keep it that way, thank you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right, folks, it's game number 4. You're watching the Ting Open semifinals. He leads 2-1 in the bottom left. It's the Red Zerg, Denver, playing for Roman D Gaming.
It's out right as the blue Protoss. It is a DNS.
I'm surprised Cascade's still around, by the way. I guess when they started weeding out all the betting and poker sites and all these other things, I just assumed Cascade would disappear. But they've still been sponsoring players. I remember Koss was on it for a while, too.
Gotta really wonder how much they're really sponsoring them. I mean, sometimes it feels like a lot of these tags, teams, clans, whatever you want to call them, when they call themselves, just like give them a place to all chat and assume same Skype group or something. I don't know if there's actually a monetary gain involved. Maybe if we're going to events that they've already qualified in. It doesn't feel like it'd be very much.
It's interesting, I guess, to explain really quick. For those who don't know the tournament scene, the pro player scene, all this, some players want very different things. Like, for example, a lot of the Korean players, even if they're like the lower tier Korean players, they want like 1,000 US a month. They want travel. They want lots of support, right? Some foreigners have also the same ego, but at the same time are willing to accept smaller things. And some guys are honestly on some of these teams for like $50 a month. And it is probably just to get in that environment, hang out, talk with other pros a lot more. So that could very well be the case. I don't know. I always look at it though, and I think when players like DNS, there are people who are good enough that they should be at more events. I would imagine they're thinking of bigger things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so many tournaments in the WCS circuit, well, all the tournaments in the WCS circuit now pay for travel up to like 16 players. So it's actually more than that. It's the 32 players. Well, anyways, it's a lot better, I think, for teams to sponsor limited and then just, you know, help them a little bit whenever they get to actually go to a tournament. Whereas before, you would actually have to pay their entire way to go to all of the tournaments unless they won like the one round of 8 bracket. It was a lot more difficult. But anyways, it's a very old team. DNS is down 1, and Denver is looking quite strong despite losing one of these games.
You know, it's interesting, actually. I was just thinking, I'm sorry, pondering on that previous point. We talk about all this war chest money, and Total Biscuit gets this for Shellcraft and this, that, and the other. I do wonder how much, because we don't know. Like, even at the summit, guys, we weren't told these numbers behind closed doors. Like, I don't actually know how much money the war chests generated or anything like that, but I wonder to what degree that would help fuel more players to go to things or to pay out more to amateurs, you know what I mean? To make it more of a possibility to climb than just simply reward the top 16 type thing.
They're already paying out to round of 32. I actually think that's really generous.
No, I agree, absolutely. I think it's generous, but I'm just wondering, like, how much further could you push that? Would it be worth pushing even in the first place?
I don't think so. You actually start getting, like, a lot of really
I guess diminishing return
around a 64.
Yeah, there's diminishing returns too. Like you obviously can't pay out. Anyways, just curious thought had in my mind. Attack out of Denver for the counter is not going to find his ability to do much. He can police a third though, and I kind of like that he set Lings out to do this.
He was very successful in that first game, getting cancel after cancel, and then even in the last game, he got a not cancel kill, which is just a mistake from DnS. So, patrolling, policing it is very important. Knows it's Stargate, setting down those Spore Crawlers. It's going to be double Stargate. DnS slaps down another one.
I do like that it's the shield batteries, shield batteries. Man, I really can't talk today. What's wrong with my brain? I like that the shield batteries coming down this time. Without shield batteries, there's like almost no chance to fight in some of these situations, and obviously if you just like hug your probes around a shield battery, you'll stop any harass from killing them.
Once again, DnS just going a little too early. Doesn't wait for one extra adept, basically, which would then allow him to take this Nexus as fast as he would want.
Kind of hoping that the door would be open, but with the shield battery there's no way he's knocking that down, so falls back. The Oracle got in and we saw got a couple of kills, but then immediately driven off, so that's already back home.
So Denver gets another delay, but he doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't see that it's double Stargate. He hasn't seen anything that tells him that either. Like, you know, one of the games he saw 2 Phoenix immediately. That was a big tell, but this has yet to be seen. He's gonna have to wait basically to see too many oracles and then be like, oh, okay, I know what's up.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Denver was using Tastosis before, was he not?
Yes, you said he was using Tastosis.
Okay, I wonder if swapping accounts did something, because it's a Garrett now, or default. I don't know which that is, to be honest. Is there a random? That's what I'm just wondering. Yeah, is there like a random announcer pack option, or is he just doing it to mess with us?
Did they add a random button? Maybe it sounds a bit familiar.
Well, they added a random button for co-op, so potentially, I don't know.
Oh, alrighty then.
Well, dashing by the Zerglings, we'll find that hole in the wall plugged once again by the Stalker. I does see the army pushing out, so he's gonna start gathering his forces on his side of the map. It's gonna be tough to take a fight with oracles on top of this. There's a lot of oracles on top of this too, and he realizes that falling back to the Spore Crawler is not going to save him either. Denver's actually in a lot of trouble potentially here with this attack. This is a very strong and scary attack out of DnS.
He was trying to buy as much time as possible before committing to this, and DnS did not want to pop his Oracle energy on just a couple of Ling. Let's pop it now, but there's so much energy to go through. Might be enough.
Oh my god.
Oh, Queens!
There's some transfuses going on, but it's not going to be enough, and Denver looks dead.
He does. Denver's also not able to even produce as much as he's banking right now. Just a severe lack of larva for pure Ling. Never got to the Hydralisk Den quick enough, I guess, too. A lot of missing steps here, and he has just taken too much damage.
I'm just so surprised this fell apart as quick as it did. This didn't feel like something that should have snowballed like this, but I guess this really just goes back down to not seeing the double Stargates. Because the Adepts, they're still a big part of the problem, but the Oracles really just paved the way for them.
Yeah. But I'm also looking at Denver's bank and just thinking, like, he must have seen the attack on the way and then missed the timing of some type. Like, didn't slap down the Hydralisk Den or thought he did and didn't realize he didn't, because he was banking so much that usually goes in a more expensive units other than Lings at this point.
You know, it's a little surprising too. That attack, all things considered, didn't actually kill that many drones. Denver's still behind significantly. He's just cut them for a point, so now he goes back into droning, but he's really far behind.
I mean, we can't forget that he was also going for his own all-in. He was going for his own attack. You know, those queens were lifting those overlords not to save them from the oracles, but he was prepping for something. Yeah. I didn't expect him to bank 1,000 minerals for it.
The probes get pulled, so they actually see this coming.
Yeah. Take out the shield battery. Maybe that isn't replaced fast enough, but Denver is in crisis management mode. He's trying to replace not just drones, because it wasn't drones that he lost that much of, right? 12 is not that bad. He's already on a low drone count, and he lost all of his army, so replacing both is going to be really difficult.
I'm just trying to think about recovery for this. Denver might have caught up in workers, but at the sacrifice of an army. DnS already has a really outstanding army going, and on top of this, the fact that Denver just He's not going to have larva. He's just used it all on drones. He literally has no larva to work with. They're only just now coming out of those injects. Like, I'm really worried for Denver. Like, really worried for Denver.
Absolutely. He's in a terrible position. Probably should lose this game to this upcoming push. I was worried DnS would give him too much time. Kind of like, you know, wait for Storm, perhaps, to really solidify it, but just taps out. No army.
Awkward death is awkward, but it is what it is. And DnS, well, he ties it up, actually, 2-2, so this is already going pretty back and forth. As noted, though, guys, we're going to play a Ting commercial here. It'll be short, it'll be sweet, and we'll get game number 5 ASAP. So sit tight. Ting's going to talk about their, we'll pick rates. All right, folks, we're back. Thank you for watching that quick break. Again, without the sponsors and these videos played for them, we wouldn't have this awesome tournament. But we're in the lobby for battle on the boardwalk. Just waiting on, I guess, DnS to confirm that he's not tabbed out in AFK. But we're going to go, so. Cool. I'm also curious, I know we're making fun of France, so we're going to take a quick stab at what our viewership statistics look like. Of course, thank you, Twitch, for putting us on the front page. So we got a bit of US bias there at number 1. But looks like the UK has come back in force. Sitting there as our number 2 viewership, followed up by Canada. Oh, Canada. Number 3, followed by Germany, South Korea, Czech Republic, and there we go. There's France. A little bit there at the bottom. Sweden, Denmark, and Brazil. If we didn't say your country's name, guys, it's because it wasn't in the top 10 list here on Twitch. But regardless of where you're tuning in from, thank you for enjoying StarCraft with us here on BaseTradeTV. We're getting to game number 5 now. Things have been tied up 2-2. And once again, big thank you to Ting for making this possible. Check out bttv.ting.com to learn more and get $25 in credit. If you're in the US, this phone service might be just for you. But to the top left, for the first time today on Battle on the Boardwalk, we've got Denver.
In the top right is the red Protoss. He is DnS.
What did you not sign up for?
Ting.
Ah. Yeah, actually, to be clear, guys, I know there's like a lot of shilling and a lot of this, but like BaseTradeTV, we're pretty genuine with our sponsors, and honestly, if we wouldn't use a product, we wouldn't have them on as a sponsor. I did use Ting as well for a while. As a Canadian, you can't use it back home, but it was great for roaming. So like, there's a lot of good uses for it, and I was pretty happy with the services. I think out of like 3 different events that I went to, there's only like 1 restaurant we went to where I had like a bit of a hiccup, and outside of that, it was perfect.
Yeah. It's useful for me just going out of country. I can just pop in a new SIM card.
Yeah, that's I love not being tied in. That was a really good part of it too. I didn't have to like buy a second phone and commit.
Yeah. Or, you know, I used to have to call AT&T and then buy like a package plan when going overseas.
Ugh.
It was a bit annoying. So just buying a SIM card at the actual country is a lot more convenient. But anyways, we do have DnS going for the gold base. So apparently Battle of the Boardwalk is becoming a little more Protoss favored. I said flavored again, damn it. I was talking about this in Eve versus Impact, but we didn't get to see it. It was going to be the 7th game if it went to the ace match. It didn't. But, you know, one of the reasons is that even though Denver could eventually see and even maybe expect the gold base being taken, there's not too much you can do about it. By the time it breaks down the rocks or gets Overlord transportation, Overlord drops, I guess it's called now, you know, there'll be shill batteries, there'll be warp-in potential, and he might overcommit to dealing with it. Whereas if Denver takes his gold base, well, a Warp Prism I think is a lot safer of a move for Protoss to do. That could be less committed, but do a lot more damage.
I love that. It's not even that it's a gold base. I just love the way you have to get to the gold base. It's this insanely long, skinny pathway that has another insanely long. Like, there's just so many dangers and cool advantages at the same time for defending this base. I like the design of it, frankly, because most other golds are just like, oh, I skipped ahead to my 4th. Not a big deal, frankly.
We'll see how this continues to develop. I mean, this map is, I feel, going to be the one that is chosen least because it is wonky. The gold base is a question mark, and then, you know, even without the gold base being questionable, there's the actual design of the middle of the map, the most important part, where you see the armies engage each other and how they actually wrap around the map. Well, there's 3 pathways, not including the boardwalk on the gold, and all of them are chokes. Well, 2 out of 3 are chokier than the 3rd one, but still, even the 3rd one has this high ground and a choke, so it's It's really weird to get across the map.
It's a real kinky map.
Yeah, there's a lot of chokes.
By the way, while this goes on, we've had a couple of subs to quickly shout out. Get some recaps here. Moonfleck just came at us with a Prime sub, as well as Nofer. Thank you very much for that Prime sub as well, sir. Glad to have you guys join us. And then quick shout out to my boy Texas has gone to chat. Came by to hear the Let's Hype Up Denver stream. Yep, that's about it. Love Denver, man.
What is DnS doing here? He might have gotten away with a gold base, but Denver so far is taking his third. He's at gold base and probably emphasizing drones on that as opposed to his natural.
Oh, well, rest in peace.
Goodbye, Overlord.
Oracle gets caught by some queens early on, so wastes its energy on not waste, I guess, but uses the energy on a revelation since it wasn't going to get any damage done. Bottom side, oh man, I realized he was supply blocked by that Overlord again. Second time we've seen a pretty tough one, but while this goes on, there's a pylon down here to the south. While there's no warp ins, this provides a lot of scouting information, and he knows that these lings are attacking the rocks.
Yeah. DnS obviously scouted the lack of drones, the lack of third base, scouted the gold base eventually. Knows what's up. I mean, there could have been an assumption that every single race and every single matchup is going to try and take this gold base. So you're always going to be on guard about it. But how you deal with it, that's the real question. You can just do whatever you were going to do anyways. So maybe in DnS's case, it was a double Stargate build from the get-go, or maybe this is a reaction to gold base. Either way, I think that it can punish this gold. Okay, loses Oracle. As when you get to 7 or 8 oracles, you can just totally bypass spore crawlers. You just kill them instantly, and the queen's gonna take a long time to get down there. There's not gonna be a lot of them.
You just don't give an F at that point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shaughnessy, for the 11 months. Almost at a Partoof. Yeah, 12 months, so close. Coming up.
Soon, TM.
How far Partoof's been going, by the way? I know we slowed down for a while. There's only like 2 or 3 a month. Is that picked up, or is it still kind of?
Oh no, that was like only 2 months. It went back to being like 8 or 10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I might push off shipping December's though, because I don't know if they're supposed to be doing this, but they definitely do, where they severely increase the price of shipping in December.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. Plus, it probably gets a lot of complications. Anyways, I love the Evo chamber block out of Denver. That was so clever. It bought him a lot of time. Like, a lot of time. But was it still enough? The Oracles are going to come in and melt those queens, and the Lings will eventually die to them. But the question now is, can the Roaches hold against whatever follow-up this is? And right now, it's just a couple of Adepts.
Well, the Roaches are certainly a safer option. They are the safest option, 9 times out of 10.
Actually, this goes back to a big part of why I started liking Denver, because while a lot of people started kind of moving really away from Roaches, we actually saw Denver use a lot of Roach play in some of the earlier group phases. So I'm happy about this, but at the same time, there's a double Robo, and Immortals just absolutely shit on Roaches. I'm sorry, there's no better way to phrase that.
There's absolutely a reason why Roaches have gone away from this matchup. I mean, the return to the Roach Ragdoll is cool and all. As the meta develops, but then it's got to swing the other way again, and Roaches just do not stand up as the mid-game gets going here. They're great for early game defense, but they're expensive, they're supply expensive. They aren't as I said, like, they don't go into the mid-game as easily as even Lings do, because while Lings, aren't the scariest unit in the world, they're not lurkers, they're better at run-bys and harassing and even surrounding. Like, they're good units, but Roaches really aren't.
I do love, though, when you can get the Roaches with Burrow, and that's exactly what he's doing, Tunneling Claws as well. These are the type of Roaches I really like. Like, this with the run-by, it's gonna get something done, but it'll probably die. Wow, Battle for the Boardwalk almost is so sick. I was gonna be really pissed if that was a 1 force fieldable spot, but okay, walks around it. There's been so many Immortals pumping out of this, though, with shield batteries, too. This is, for me, what's really clever for Denver, right? He's still moving on to Hydras and Lurkers and better units, but the way he plans to utilize the Roaches is not the way DnS is perhaps prepared for, because DnS is ready to take a one big wham bam thank you ma'am engagement with all these Immortals just taking on all the Roaches, but realistically Denver's going to be trying to sneak like 5 Roaches, 3 Roaches per base and just get around and harass.
That is the best use for the roaches, but already losing over half of them in some decent force fields. Ling's going to wrap around on these sentries, though, so a bit of a freebie. 300 gas down the drain.
Oh, I like that he runs through to the main. There's actually not that much here to defend. The shield battery's covering the mineral lines here with cannons, but there's only one shield battery, and it's out of range of the mineral lines, so he's going to get some more probe kills. And DNS is, he'll be on top of this, but man, I got to note, well, he's a good player, and there's not a lot to criticize out of DNS. I do realize he's usually pretty late to pulling his probes or reacting to these sort of attacks. Seems to be a very noticeable weakness.
A little bit. The multi-pronged pressure, though, that was actually just an instant, like, attack over there, lose some units, feel good, and then look over someplace else, feel less good because all your sentries had died. But those sentries might not have been joining up with the main army anyways, being the opposition that they are. These charge lots certainly aren't. Roaches have just burrowed and might just be... I mean, they might be able to kill a couple of these cannons, but I don't think they take on everything, including the shield batteries.
Big recall. Where'd he go? Natural base. Okay. Damn it! I was gonna do it.
Storms are over halfway done. Definitely gonna be necessary as Denver does add on like Ling, Baneling, Hydra. He has just transitioned completely away from roaches and is going on to that strong proposition that we're used to. But he also needs lurkers because this game is a bit delayed in terms of tech for the Zerg player. He had that moment of roaches that didn't really do a whole lot, and DNS has managed to he took some damage here and there, but he's gotten to a very powerful army. So Ling, Baneling, Hydra might not have cut it. The lurkers are going to be maybe even necessary as we see the armies maybe do battle soon.
Revelation was so sick catching those roaches like that. Ling's managed to run around this. Shield bearers are not repairing the pylons because you have to manually target them, and he's so busy being distracted in several different locations. This is Denver's... Oh my god, look at the position he found with these roaches in the main. Denver's forte is getting around the army, and he's done that perfectly here.
Yeah. God, that... I saw those links running around the U, Ben, and I was like, damn, that's going to be really harsh to take care of.
Well, 12 probes die, but losing control of the gold, downing quite a bit of supply, and oh, these roaches are just continuing to be so annoying. One of the things we saw him doing were running around the roaches while they had Revelation on them, because the heal out-damages the Zealots in a big way.
Yeah. DNS really doesn't have that strong of upgrades, considering that Denver's on his way to 2-1-1. Really weird. No, wait, hold on. 2-2-1. There we go. 2-2-1. DNS, I would have expected him to have already +2, basically. But it is finishing up right now. As the engagement happens, of course, to go. It's not here when it's most important.
That started off what looked scary for Denver, but ended up going pretty well, man. A lot of lurkers on both sides of this. And oh no. There's not enough here to defend us. Everything's so distracted. If that army comes back to deal with the lurkers, that opens up the gateways for these guys to move in and kill the new base. And this base for DNS is way more important than the natural.
Some pretty effective engagement there, killing that many lurkers with a couple of immortals, but yeah, just so the distractions continuing to happen. DNS also is not mining from that fourth base anymore, the gold base, sorry, and doesn't have that to fall back on anymore. Even if he was, like, he'd be out of minerals, so he really needs to keep these bases alive.
Roaches in the main pop out, they can focus down, but they get a couple probes with them and force them to be pulled. This engagement over here is going to be a little bit awkward. The lurkers are spread out really nice. It kind of reminds me of like siege tanks spread, but unfortunately, the Protoss army just trucks right through them. But they're in the wrong spot. Ling's right to the north side. Ling's split to the fourth base too.
Oh my god.
More probes are going to die.
DNS is going to be so upset about this. He does recall to the natural to take care of that. It looks like he was an observe well, so takes care of it, but that was a lot of time bought. Killing all those lurkers could have been the signal for DNS to go while Denver was still remaking the army, but having a recall, not getting a chance anymore. And Denver is happily on 6 bases now.
Yo, Denver's multitasking is so sick, but DNS's reactions, I feel, are getting better and better as this game goes on. That recall was amazing. We don't see enough people taking advantage of that either.
Fortunately, by recalling like that, he can't things go bad here.
That's true. There's a lot of lurkers setting down. Meanwhile, it looks like roaches are taking out the cannons, and this gold base was not a big thing, but it was at least an extra chrono or two. He's actually got a lot of energy on that Nexus.
Revelation does tag those units, and well, maybe DNS should have protected them a little, or sorry, Denver should have protected them faster. A couple of them get picked off, but DNS, he might not be... Losing control of the gold base isn't that important right now, but I know that Denver still has a couple of Lings burrowed every which way.
Well, what was actually kind of key about this, though, is still losing the gases, for example. I mean, sure that minerals are basically gone, but the gas geysers are still going.
And And Denver has 50 more lings that are probably going to make their way, some of them at least, to the natural base again, because DNS has not bothered walling off that choke. The creep actually has denied him from ever doing it.
I love the creep spread out of Denver too. This made it all the way around that top choke. All right, Zella Warpin's going to try to get some payback. Denver hasn't taken a lot of worker damage this game. Not a lot to kill at the natural base, but while this goes on, both players are very focused down here to the south. And DNS is actually finishing up a Dark Shrine. Denver hasn't had to deal with cloak units. There's actually not that much detection.
Yeah, he hasn't really had to deal with harassment much at all up until that one warp prism. But continuing with his own, DT warped in. That's at least telling him there are DTs now available. Some spines and spores.
Oh my god, he kills like 30-something probes while this goes on, so there's not going to be many more DTs behind that. DNS doesn't really have a bait.
No.
Bailings roll through, good connections, Archons are going down, it's just Immortals remaining.
Luckily, there is one High Templar left with a couple of storms. The DNS can continue to hold this spot, but I don't know if he can push it any further. Those Banelings actually connected with 2 High Templars that were still very important to this army.
39 probes. This has gotten really out of hand. Recovery is probably out of the question for DNS. He's going to recall once again, probably to the... where? Third. Fourth, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Fourth. So Denver lost 2 bases, and he is running dry on his... I mean, he's almost completely mined out of his gold. His natural isn't mining at all. But his third base is still healthy, and he has a bit of a bank. He should still be winning this game, but DNS very, very wisely pulling back from that, at least got 2 bases, and that's good.
Man, this is... I'm starting to like this map more and more every time we cast on it. Like,
no.
And we're seeing people like Denver really play it well to take advantage of how the extremes are from the top to the bottom. Despite the fact that this is much longer left and right than it is taller up and down, this is like still a pretty big map.
I might like it if I played Zerg. As a Terran, I really having to consider all these run-by pathways, basically.
Well, as Terran, you just put down 7 extra planetary fortresses. Am I right, other races?
Well, certainly, you know, DNS could have saved himself a lot of headache. He probably could have saved himself 400 minerals, that's for sure, to build a 5th base by now. If that creep hadn't denied pylons. Because pylons might not hold forever, but with shield battery, with just like 10 seconds of notice, though, like 3 of those Ling run-bys would not have done as much damage.
By the way, while this has been going on, I guess we haven't talked much on tech, because it's been a lot of action through harassment, but Denver did get to Hive. And one of the big things about this is he's upgrading for +3 weapons on both melee and range while getting adrenal glands. These Zerglings have been so effective up to this point, they're going to become even more effective with these upgrades finishing up. That probably cut out for you, I'm sorry. That should be fine now, though.
Oh yeah, I was like, what the hell happened?
The headset turned off for some reason. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because it went like really bad quality before it turned off. All right, so this base entirely cleaned up. Almost, you know, in a way, it could be a good thing. You just haven't to worry about it anymore. But, you know, the downside is on Battle on the Boardwalk, you have to worry now about your main base being attacked. You don't have any vision down there anymore to at least alert you. And his main base has not been walled off in that pathway.
Well, those upgrades that I talked about while the microphone was muted for you are not in effect just yet, but still, the army takes a good engagement. This spread, this concave, and now Vipers? Well, actually, Vipers are a little scary. They might get hit with feedbacks.
Yeah, Vipers aren't the scariest thing of this composition. I just think Denver has the army numbers here to overpower DNS. DNS, like, he really can't push past this area. It's not that much of a choke like I was talking about, but it is at least something where the storms are super effective.
I hope he... Oh, I was gonna say, I hope he burns the Banelings. That'd be so sick. I don't know if DNS will notice or not, of course, but chasing these to the main, he's... Oh, we're gonna have to watch if complacency kills DNS or not.
Right? I'm gonna pay attention to this Baneling.
I know, me too. I love the way feedback in my mind works, by the way. Like, these Templar look at the Vipers from 10 yards away, and they're like, you're really bad at flying! And then they feel so bad, they just, like, die.
They implode.
Uh-oh. I don't think he knows, guys.
Dun, dun,
He's gone back for the transfer. Denver's got to be looking. Oh, 19 probes! Repros the other one. To scores. Oh, you only need to use 1. There's no armor upgrades.
No armor upgrade, +2 melee.
Oh, my God. Yo, someone better clip that. What's up, Reddit? Oh, it was so sick. DNS now down to less than 30 workers. He's not been in a great spot for a while. 93 probes have died in the making of this game.
Oh, Denver. I thought he was going to go for the main base with that army, but maybe how did he go? Nope, lame. Goes for third base. Okay, well, that's still a good move. I thought he was going to go for a wraparound. Just get rid of the army once and for all.
Oh, but adrenal glands is so good. This is going to chew through the building if this wasn't responded to, so warpins were absolutely necessary. This is so. There's the recall coming, but I still don't know if it's gonna matter. 11 more probes time. DnS is just running on fumes at this point.
Yeah, it's considering how many times he's been countered and run by. I mean, I'm surprised he's still in this game, but he is now losing too much army. He never really got to a high enough army supply, anyways. I don't think he ever approached 100 to truly threaten Denver, and now Denver is on to Brute Lords.
Terminated with that perfect clip, by the way, the Baneling bust from Stacy's stream. You guys haven't seen it, don't watch it, it's terrible, but yeah, that's about what happened. Man, these two are so well matched for each other. I love this, but Denver's finding all these little upper hands, and I don't think we're gonna see a game as good as this one again in a while. I've really enjoyed this game a lot, actually. DT's doing what it can. DT's are actually not a bad move, but unfortunately, it is one of those too little too late situations, I think.
Yeah, DNS is trying to all in now, but it is too late. It's officially too late. Brood Lords are done. You can't do anything about that.
They get abducted into the Lurkers. Feedbacks hit the Vipers, so forget that, but still GG. Oh, Denver, after 20 minutes, wrestles victory. And is now leading 3-2, putting DNS on his last life.
Ooh.
All right, folks. We got 6,000 people tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the show. This is the last best of 7 today. If you haven't yet, please, I'm begging you, hit the follow button. I'm begging you. We got to hit that 100K mark. We're currently at 99,775. Oh, 225 to go. Can we get 225 followers before the stream is over? That's the real question. But until then, we go to a quick commercial break. As this may be our last game coming up. We'll see you guys soon. All right, folks, we're just going to hop directly to the in-game scene because we're going to Neon Violet Square. Thank you for all the follows that come in during the break, of course. You guys are awesome, rocking it here. Little bits going down, but of course, nothing to touch for Rurikar anytime soon. And let's get into it. This guy in this best of 7 is up 3-2. One win here and now, and he goes on to the finals. And if he goes on to the finals, it's guaranteed PvZ. No mirror matchups. Woo! Holy guacamole! You know what? Let's do the intros first. In the top left side of the map, we've got the Red Zerg, Remedy Gaming's Denver.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he is Cascades, DNS.
And then raise the frickin' roof Dovenwolf with the zombie dance. Denver, so good. Even the dead come up to see him. I love it. Oh. Thank you for the 10,000 bits. The alert's been pushed out because of all the followers, but 10,000 bits. Thank you so much, Dovenwolf. What a phenomenal day.
That is sick. Oh, good day indeed. Some awesome games, and here we are on DNS's last life. Impact found himself in a similar situation in the last best of 7, and it did not end up being able to take it to the ace match. These guys seem very evenly matched, but as back and forth as Neeb versus Impact was, Neeb did look, I think, overall stronger, proved it by winning, obviously. I feel the same for Denver. I think Denver, when he wins, it looks more impressive. Where when DNS wins, it feels a little bit brute force, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Denver, it's funny because with Denver's all-ins, you would think he'd be the more brute force player that we've seen in the past, excuse me. He's actually not done many today. But what I loved about that last game, I would almost describe the way Denver was doing harass as like a fencer. Like it was like almost like a dance with the way he was getting around the map. Like it was so well handled, and I loved watching the finesse. It was so cool. But
it was.
Neon Violet Square presents a lot of those similar options is what I do get worried about. It is worth noting, though, that if DNS just walls off to the north side, there's only one choke-in for 3 bases. So if dealing with dancing lings coming through your back door is a problem, that won't be this case on this map.
That might have specifically been why he chose it. It was between this and Catalyst as the last, as the next map, rather. So Catalyst will be the last map. And Catalyst has a very obvious third base. It's not difficult to take, but it is, you know, away from your natural, whereas this protects what could be your third base. So it did, you know, third base, though, in the back, delayed or lower minerals. It's usually not the most wanted thing. Protoss, as I say, are trying to get the full mineral third bases more often if they think they can get away with it.
You attack and you protect. I love that meme. But man, I just realized how backed up the follower count is. People are really pushing hard for it, and thank you guys so much for that. We're at got like 50 or something followers since the last shout at 99,825. 175 to go. Ooh.
They're coming in.
All right, well, I also got a comment too. That big ass chunk of bits the Devon Wolf threw away, that's actually taken a third of the health off Rurikar. Not something I expected to see either.
Nice.
But you guys spoil us, and thank you. And I really, truly hope you guys have enjoyed the show so far today. As tomorrow's finals will be interesting. So quick reminder that you'll see all 4 of these players come back. There's a 3rd place match, then a show match, best of 3 between myself and Jesse, and then the grand finals. Best of 9, which will be going down.
Yeah. 2 maps replayed if necessary. But I don't know, if Denver really does win it here and now, he'd be going up against... And while Neeb had some weaknesses to show against 2 Zerg players, Solar and Impact, will he be as weak to Denver? Different styles of play, although Denver's looks quite bothersome. I wouldn't want to be the Protoss facing him.
No, Denver, I think he's really powerful with his harass. If Neeb has any troubles with that at all, forget late game, forget Broodlords, forget the QQ, like, Denver, he gets you early.
Well, nothing substantial happening in this game yet. DnS has not decided on his 3rd base. Or not being able to get his 3rd base if this is the one he's trying to take. Again, just too few adepts every single time. Like, every single one of these games, it feels like. Except the last one because he got the gold base. But he's just been little late to his 3rd. And he is going to take this one outside after setting down his forward light console. Charge +1.
I really like that Denver's been getting a little bit more dedicated to the Overlord speed, because let's not forget, like, the worst loss of this series was not scouting double Stargate. So this is a map where you don't know if they're taking that back pocket base, if it is double Stargate or what have you. So I really, really like the emphasis on scouting. This is a very important detail for Denver.
This is the 2nd time, maybe for the 3rd time, a random drone has been accidentally rallied here.
Accidentally? I think you mean look at a mineral walk through and kill this adept at 2 health.
He must be rallying his overlords and accidentally grabbing a drone egg or something like that, because this is just so weird.
He's grabbed the drone. He really didn't know what to do with it. It's kind of like, oh wait, what?
Can I sneak him out? Saving Private Ryan.
Nah, definitely not. It died miserably here. Stasis trap might be in order instead of actual damage.
Oh, he tried to do the cool little sport crawler trick, but it requires some very precise timing.
Some insanely precise time. Oh, there we go. Finally coming. There's the bits we shot out 6 minutes ago. No complaints here, though, because that's a lot of follows coming in, guys, and I do appreciate it. Archon's going to be merged in over here, and a 2nd Warp Prism's coming out of DnS. I really love when players can pull off 2 Warp Prisms, and DnS is someone skilled enough to do just that. So, while it hasn't worked out in previous games because Denver's brought him back home with all-ins, this time Denver doesn't have a lot of army supply that's looking to pull him home. Denver's going to be playing defensive, and ooh, supply blocked.
He's got 4 Overlords on the way, not too bad. And I was going to say, on Ascension to Ire, DnS got 2 Warp Prisms. The first one was... just beat back so hard, he didn't even really try again with it. And then the second one almost was never used. He was so focused on the rest of the game, basically. So I don't really know if it's going to do a lot of damage, but accompanying the Archons are a couple of Zealots. And if Banelings weren't here, this could have been game over. Even with Banelings, this is doing a lot of damage.
That micro, pulling the Zealots back and letting the Archons just auto-attack everything, worked out a little bit thanks to luck, but also thanks to Archons being really splashy units. Drones get pulled away from this, and this is looking tough for Denver. I don't know that he can hold this, even with Roaches coming out. He's down in supply. GG!
GG!
We're going to the ace match.
Oh, shit.
I'm a little bit torn about this. At this point, I'm like... Guys, I really want Denver to win just because I don't want a PvP finals. But also, I think Denver, again, I'm on the hype train for. But I got to respect DnS for pulling off that victory. That was well executed. And the +1 was brutal.
Yeah. That I feel like was missing from the Ascension to Ire game, in fact. Because I think he also had an Stargate into Archon drop with no Zealots. He didn't try with the Zealots. And they wouldn't have had charge anyways. That was, like, you know, very finely tuned build. Right on time with the charge. And just... good micro to help really just win the game.
Yeah, well, we're not going to inject a break here, guys. We're just going to jump right into it. So DnS in Denver, Catalyst, final game in this series. Winner goes to the finals. Whoops. I said I wasn't going to play ads and I accidentally pressed the ad button, but I didn't press the ad button on Twitch, just the wrong scene. So don't worry, we're good.
I was going to say, that's catastrophic.
It's like, just kind of went full scumbag mode. Gotta squeeze out that extra 10 cents. Ugh. Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, we've gone all the way to map number 7. I must once again give a big shout out to the sponsor of this tournament for making this happen, for giving us the opportunity to have such sick games to share with you all. Thank you, Ting. If you guys don't know what Ting is, it's a mobile phone service for the US only. Zombie Grub uses it all the time. We can talk to it, we can attest to it. We've been working with them for 2 years at this point. And you go to bttv.ting.com if you want to get some more information and also claim $25 while you're at it. But spawning here to the lower right, we've got the Blue Zerg, Denver.
In the top left is the red Protoss. He is DnS.
Aw, this was a nice move. Diesel Max Power has gifted a sub to Morning Whiskey, who has been spamming Kappas one at a time with cheers in chat. So thank you both for being awesome.
Whiskey.
So here's the deal with Ting, guys. Let's be real about this too. If you're somebody who's using like a ton of data, watching YouTube every day on the bus on the way to work, Ting's not going to be for you. If you're like me though, and you spend all your time around Wi-Fi and you really have a phone just for the sake of having a phone, ooh, Ting is perfect for you, and you're going to spend like nothing on it. And as shown in the previous ad that we played, they don't do contracts, they do rates, so like you're not locked into anything. You can literally try Ting for basically free with our promo code, and if you don't like it, oh well. Thank you for trying. Of course, the other part of this that's really nice is if we get 30 signups each season, that's what gives us another season of Ting. And so far, we're on season 4 with 22 or 23 signups going to these finals. I'm so excited to say that like it's so easy to know we're going to have another season of Ting. There's no way we're not getting it at this rate.
It's awesome to hear. Ting's always a great tournament. A little bit of a misstep right there. Thanks for pointing that out, Rifkin. Thanks for just staying on Denver's main base for as long as you have.
Sorry, Denver.
Maybe thinking about killing the probe, deciding not to. Very awkward. But anyways, it's not important. What's important is what DnS is doing. As I was talking about before that last game, was that DnS's victory seemed a little more just brute force. Like Denver got caught by surprise, and then DnS had too much army. The amount of finesse that really goes into that, the micro was cool, but it's not really the most finesse, multiple things happening and that he's on point about every single one. No, he just did his build as clean as possible. Didn't mind the delays on third base or anything like that. And then microed, and Denver did not have enough. So can Denver actually lose this series? Because at least 3 of these games, see what happens with this one, at least 3 of these games, he's just caught off guard. That would be, well, that would suck.
I was a little bit questioning that hatchery too. The timing of that was weird, but okay, he's actually taking the 3rd.
I'm actually trying to remember the first game that Denver won, or that DnS won. Both have D's in the game. Because I remember the Oracle Adept, and then there was the last game. But then what was the 3rd game that DnS won? Oh, the Colossus. Oh, that's right. Oh, actually, that was a really well played game. That was the Phoenix into Colossus, where that was a long game, and he did just kind of perform everything accurately. And a very, as I said, a long game, so a macro game. None of these adepts or surprise charged Archons. So I don't want to. I was just thinking about it because I didn't want to try and make it sound like DnS could only surprise his way to victory. But hey, speaking of surprises.
This is such a weird investment that will solidify his position here. Denver is not going to have an easy time removing this. But at the same time, Adepts are going to take a very long time to actually kill a hatchery.
Yeah, this isn't like the Photon Overcharge. Well, it's a similar concept, but unlike the Photon Overcharge rush on the 3rd base, you can't kill the hatchery faster or kill the queens.
Oh my god, it heals the Oracle too. I forgot. Oh,
that's probably the dirtiest thing about this.
Yup. Oh my god, the queens can't. Oh, if it gets low, just fall back.
He might just have to kind of give up droning on this 3rd base for a while. But the thing is, I think he can. As you said, like the hatchery's not going to die anytime soon, so just kind of bide your time and don't freak out about it.
Oh, this is so dirty.
It is. Like, unfortunately, even if Denver tries to just take it calmly, because that was a mistake, and do everything else perfectly while his macros going along here. This is damage. This is a good move by DnS. No matter how
I
you look.
like this. The downside is though, right? Like, let's not pretend this isn't for nothing. Not for naught. These shield batteries and that pylon and these oracles, like, that's his own third base he could have taken while this was going on. And Denver looks like he's finally gonna break it as the shield batteries run out of juice. A little bit surprised to see him do it, but he does. And all right, yeah. Second Stargate finishing up.
Actually, your point about the third base, it is problematic that his third base never went down. He warped in a couple more depths at home to deal with what is, like, I think a handful of lings. And even now, he has, you know, enough minerals there. Finally, he puts it down. That's a bit delayed.
It's so strange the way this delayed both players' builds as far as thirds go. But I like the special tactics, and I love seeing cool things like this. So I give kudos to DnS, even if it costs him the game. But the double Stargate build, the second Overlord is in a position, but he's not scouting it, so he doesn't know about the second Stargate.
This has hurt him before. And I'm real bad before. It never takes a fourth base, still only on Ling, Baneling. I mean, he's going to be adding a Hydralisk Den, but the lack of roaches, in a way, I guess, it's not just that the roaches need to be made. They don't need to be made, but he needs either to see this coming and build enough Lings or already be building roaches as something sturdier against this. Because if he had this in that second or third game, the last time DnS won with his build, he might have been able to hold on.
This is interesting with the extra base coming down. It's a place to fall back to, but also perhaps be a distraction. But that might not come into factor just yet. We got some Banelings morphing in. If these finish up and hit the Adepts perfectly, that could be awesome. But the likelihood of this is kind of low. He's also got to be careful the Oracles don't just catch them and mow them down. Another Spore Crawler here can help with this. Queen's going to transfuse and try and keep alive. He does get the Adepts!
He actually clogged the hole for the Banelings with his own Lings for a while there, but still cleaned it up in the end. And this is the big difference. He had enough Banelings this time. The Oracles didn't get to target them down first, and DnS's attack does not work.
Well, yet he's still got a lot of oracles, and these can really catch a player off guard. Like, we're almost at the point, maybe one more, and it would have been like an instant kill on the Spore Crawler, and it would be like 2 seconds instead of 1. Lings for these counters, though, DnS has got to be careful. That's always been his weakness, getting caught off guard by like Ling run-bys and what have you. But oh, he catches the Queens. That's real nice, and he'll get the Spore Crawler. Oh. Coop tumors.
Yeah. Very annoying. They are starting to run out of energy. They're not targeting the Spore Crawler. They were targeting the drone. So 10 drones go down. 2 Oracles probably should have lost their lives for that. Like Denver could have focus fired, but busy thinking about everything else. Fourth base is saturated. It still has 61 drones. And with a Ling, Baneling attack on the natural. He's
going to bust that Adept open. Shield Battery's not going to have time to heal it, and he'll just run in with the Lings. And hopefully for Denver, that'll get him some damage, because right now he's still bleeding out back at home. Granted, these Oracles are fairly dry, so they can't stay here forever. Another one goes down. Banelings don't cut it. Shield Battery's good. Shield Battery's so good.
Yeah, the Shield Battery did too much work on that Adept. You can see how much damage the Star from the Gateway took, so not worth.
Actually,
but not
400
too committed
damage.
Either.
All right, Hydra's finishing up. This is a tool to help deal with the Oracles. It's a good way to advance in the game. And Denver, all things considered, he's been bleeding out a lot of Queens, which are just mineral-based units and not workers.
Yeah, again, maybe some Miss Micro. Denver could have gotten the last 2, but also Miss Micro from DnS, who just...
Oh, he force-filled his own units out.
Well, this is also really weird. That Sentry's kind of living forever, though.
Yeah, Shield Battery's nice. Shield Battery is so nice.
Drained all the energy, but there's no follow attack just yet. Denver isn't taking too much damage from these Oracles. I mean, Queens aren't the worst thing to lose when you lose like 3 or 4 of them, but 7, that's a lot of minerals, plus all the drone damage you took because the Queens weren't there.
Yeah. I think this this fourth base has helped bridge a lot of that, though. If not for this, there's the missing injects. Well, now you got larva from an extra hatchery, right? Oh, Denver's special tactics. Okay. For those who don't know, Denver's like the one player who's been using Neuroparasite in unique and different ways compared to most. I don't know what he's got planned for this. Honestly, there's not a lot of things here that stand out to me as like, oh my god, that's going to be an amazing neural. But I felt that way when he played against Clem, and then he did that cool medevac Neuroparasite, and okay. Oh, Burrow's not done, but that kind of baits the Oracles into the Spore Crawler range, so killing all the Oracles for 1 Infestor is not a bad deal, I guess?
Yeah. maybe DNS will even forget to remake an Oracle and be lacking detection later on. Depending on an observer, it's really flimsy. But the neural parasites, I was wondering if he even knew that there were Colossus. He hasn't scouted since they popped. They never saw the robotics bay. So I don't know what he was planning on neural parasiting to begin with. Maybe just Archons. The Colossus now would not be a bad option, but to actually get in range without being feedbacked, depends a lot on not being scouted, actually, not being revealed.
Well, I do like the idea of grabbing the Archons. That could actually help out quite a bit, just to remove that frontline buffer. Because Colossus, as good as they are, they're only as good as what the units in front of them are. And if those Archons are removed from the equation right away, hell, they'll help kill the Zealots too. And on top of that, you just turn around and kill the Colossus with your Hydras. Get that concave going. But, oh, Bailey's finding their way into the Mineralize. And this is Bailey's without speed. So 11 probes go down. Nice pick off out of Denver. That was right next to the army. That was just literally under DNS's own nose. That sucks.
I'm really worried for Denver, though. Infestor is dealing with Colossus instead of Corruptors. I mean, we saw him try to do Corruptors before, and it didn't work, but they also didn't focus fire.
He's only got 3 Infestors, too, which does not bring a lot of confidence into this. Where is that Observer, though? Okay, it's with the army, so he'll see the burrow, at least. He
didn't save any High Templars for feedbacks.
Oh. That's actually very noteworthy.
That seems like a mistake. He knows our Infestor's out. Maybe not thinking about Neural Parasite, maybe not minding. Doesn't really do a whole lot, especially since you passed it now. But Neural Parasite's a different story.
Plus 2 weapons finishes up for the fight. This is probably everything. This is everything Denver's gonna have for this, really. Morlings are on the way. No back attack set up for this, and of course those Infestors are so. How is he gonna use this?
This feels like it might be too little, but a Colossus is grabbed. Neural Parasite has a very long range now.
Oh!
Down.
He uses it to break the force field. That was kind of cool. Fungal growth catching the rest of the units means they can't run away. So the Lynx get in on top of this. Colossus getting really low. 2 of them go down. Denver does it. He holds and he crushes DNS's army. DNS hit packing with 24 army remaining. And this Warp Prism, well, it's not much, man. It's really not much. 4th base dies for Denver, and that sucks, but he's crushed that fight. That was probably the best fight DNS is going to have all game.
That was a absolutely terrible attack. I mean, yeah, Denver had this huge concave, so he always had a chance, especially with no parasites, but then DNS blinking forward? I mean, that just made sure he would never even be able to live in this game. If he realized things are going badly, he could have at least blinked away and lost the Colossus only.
I just can't believe how cool that was, how smart it was for him to pull the Colossus back to break the force field, to open it for the Banelings to get in, for the Lings to get in. Like,
yeah,
so many subtle cool things about what Denver did in that fight.
Yeah, that definitely was a highlight-worthy moment. And now DNS is desperately trying to is replacing those Colossus. Already replaced them, really. But another huge concave.
This is actually a pretty good fight for DNS to take. It's around a lot of shield batteries, and Colossus gets taken again. But Graviton Beam breaks the Neural, and Denver's the one who's overcommitting this time.
Yeah, just a lot of units very good against what Denver has. Colossus, charge lots. I mean, you better have just a lot more laying Hydra. And initially, Denver did. It was not enough. And he takes a bit of a loss. Remember, he did lose his 4th base to that attack. Now losing a couple of drones.
Yeah, attack of the main looking not so good. DNS fighting his way back in the game in a pretty big way. If he gets the layer, that's going to be a nice snipe because Denver's not remaking this anytime soon. GG. Oh.
GG. DNS. This entire army. And Denver just gives it back. GG.
If Denver... I understand why he did the counter, but I wish he didn't, man. So sick, though. DNS, congratulations. He goes on to the finals. We are going to, in fact, have a PvP finals and a ZVZ 3rd place match. Feels bad, man. But I do want to give some credit to Denver. We've seen DNS get to the ends of tournaments before. This is the very first time we've seen Denver ever make it this far in a big tournament. And to go almost all the way to the finals was really impressive. So congratulations, DNS, and thank you, Denver, for showing us good games. But that's gonna cement what's happening tomorrow. So then the schedule is officially 7 a.m. Pacific. We go live with Impact versus Denver. Then after that is a Rifkin versus Jesse show match, made possible thanks to your contributions to the Match Arena page. It's one of the stretch goal rewards. Zombie Rep will be casting that. I'm sure it will be terrible. Not her casting, but my play. And then, last but not least, we'll be following up with a best of 9 grand finish. Ooh, with that PvP of Neeb versus DNS. This is going to be really interesting to me because we watched some really sick PvP with Hellraiser and Neeb, and I think DNS is a much better player than Hellraiser. So that matchup, I know it's a mirror matchup, and some of you guys are just not even going to care, and I'm not trying to sell you on something fake. I think that's going to be a good finals.
I am scared, though. You know, Neeb's PvP is pretty good, and yeah, Hellraiser put up a good fight, but keep in mind, that was after he got a winning maneuver in the first part of the game, and it went 30 minutes, and Neeb almost won it. So that was more just a testament to how Neeb was good, how good Neeb was, as opposed to any difficulty he might have in the matchup.
Oh, we're not going to hit 100K today. My heart breaks. Final tally here at the end of stream. 99,852. Tomorrow, the finals. I believe it, guys. Thank you for the bits here at the end of the stream. Coming in from BKS or BSK. Damn it. Okay, Black Spade Camu, you've earned your name back. I can't even abbreviate it properly. Thank you for the 300 kappas. Time to start training for your show match, Riff. I wish. There's so much I have to do today, though. So tomorrow's going to be real raw. One way or the other. Thank you all for joining us on the show today. Zombie Grub, would you like to do your shoutouts first?
Follow me on Twitter at ZG Gaming and on Twitch, Zombie Grub, YouTube, Zombie Grub. I'm streaming a lot lately, so please follow that channel. And I'll probably be streaming again today.
I'll be actually throwing out a quick host to somebody, but very, very quickly, we're going to be doing the vodcast because there was an interview. If you guys miss it and you want to go back and watch it right now, at the start of the stream, we had Stats, Solar, and TY come on. We talked to them a lot about some silly non sequitur stuff, like when are your birthdays, what are your blood types. But later, we got into the meat of it. We talked a little bit about balance. We got their predictions on who's going to do well in Ting. We even started talking about why they think all the Koreans lost, and yeah, it'll be it was a good show. Definitely make sure to check it out. Actually, you know, I don't even have to second guess this. You know who we're gonna go host?
Who?
The translator who made all that possible. Hajin is streaming, guys, so we're gonna play some commercials in the stream courtesy of our sponsors, but Hajin, the translator who joined us today, she's streaming. I didn't even realize she was a streamer. We'll give her a bit of love too, so you go say howdy. But like I said, it's gonna be a short host because we're gonna get the vodcast going up ASAP for those who couldn't wake up at freaking 6 a.m. to watch all of the content we put out today. So thank you guys again for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Follow me on Twitter at Riff_Kings. Follow the channel at BaseTradeTV. Follow the channel here on BaseTradeTV as well. And check out our sponsors, Ting, over on bttv.ting.com. But like I said, some final ads from said sponsors as we move out to the end of the stream. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.